KCLR, and you are listening to Roddy Cleere's Irish Music Show. I'm going to talk to a gentleman you all know very well. If you don't know him personally, you'll know the band that he is most associated with, and that's the Saw Doctors, and it's Leo Moran, who over the last couple of years has gone off on a bit of a tangent with the Cabin Collective, and now he's teamed up with Anto, formerly of the Waterboys, for another project. You're keeping yourself very busy for sure, Leo. How are you?
How are you, Roddy? Thanks for having me on.
Not a bother.
Sure, I'd be awful bored now if we weren't going out doing something. Myself and Anto, we love touring and we love playing and we love everything about it. So we just decided, seeing as the Saw Doctors weren't up to anything, that we'd do something ourselves. And
well, you
kind of had to. Go on.
Yeah, you went from the Saw Doctors when they got on a bit of a hiatus, as you're saying. You went from that to the Cabin Collective. So what brought you from the Cabin Collective to what you're doing now?
Well, the Cabin Collective was an amazing conglomeration of talents. We had the songs of Nolly MacDonald and Keith Mullins and unbelievable talent in the band. And we did a load of gigs, but we just couldn't. There was 9 of us in the band, and 10 and 11 sometimes. And we just couldn't kind of, as much and all as people loved the act, we couldn't get people to come and see us.
Yeah.
So it was like a kind of a big plane that wouldn't get off the ground.
Is it something
as talented as the stage was packed with,
Well, would you revisit that again, or would you rethink it, or is it done and dusted now?
Well, it's hard to say. I suppose it could fall back into place again if we had time for it. But I suppose one of the things about the Cabin Collective was, for a lot of people, it was kind of their second priority.
Right.
And really and truly, when you're trying to get something off the ground, you kind of have to give it 100.
Well,
or about 111% maybe.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, there was so many people involved with it that they all are concentrating on solo careers as well, on their own individual projects aside from the Cabin Collective.
Yeah, and it was hard enough to get everybody available for a gig, but to try and get everybody available for a practice was nearly impossible.
Yeah, especially with those kind of numbers.
Yeah, no, as I said, the stage was packed with talent, but it's just hard to get the things for something to get going. It takes an exceptional amount of energy. It's like one of those big old trains that has to start. It takes an awful lot of energy to get it started. If you get it rolling, it's different.
And did that have any bearing on what now you're doing with Anto?
Well, I suppose what we ended up doing was a complete opposite to it. The old phrase, he travels fast, who travels alone. But we're not alone, but the two of us can get around so easy. And what happened was, we had heard about this trend in America where there are house concerts, and people are doing a lot of them nowadays. Even a lot of the bigger acts are doing house concerts. So
Indeed.
we thought, God, we might have a go at that. And we got an agent in America, and she organised a little tour for us. And we kind of jumped in at the deep end because we didn't know if we were able to do it or not. The first gig we did was in my front room in Tube, which is great because that's the hardest gig we'll ever do.
The home crowd.
When you're in front of your friends and family and all that crack.
So how does
no spoofing there.
How does that work then if you go to somebody else's front room? I mean, do they pay you or what?
Yeah, they pay. Yeah, some of them throw it as a kind of a family and friends and neighbours kind of hoolie. Some of them do it on a regular basis, and they run it as a concert. And everywhere you go, it's completely different. It's very interesting, and you meet everybody. It's lovely. Now, we didn't end up doing a whole load of house concerts. We ended up doing a certain amount of them, and then doing a whole load of small venues and folk clubs and whatever else.
Well, you're moving out of the front room and you're heading around the country during November. You've got quite a few dates, and the nearest you're coming to us is you're banging in Kilkenny on the 15th of November down at the Set Theatre. So it's yourself and Anto. Is it just the two of you, or do you have a full band as well?
No, it's just the two of us. It's more like it's much more like a theatre show than a rock gig.
Right.
It's a sit-down, listen show. We do about 3/4 of an hour to an hour, and then we have a break, and then we kind of do about the same again kind of thing. And we tell a load of stories, and we do some of the better-known Saw Doctor songs the only way we're able to do them, which is completely different from the way people would be used to hearing them. And then Anto sings a couple of songs, and we do a few songs that didn't really make the Saw Doctor's set list very often. And it's a whole different way of doing it. It is, as I said, like a theatre show.
I would imagine that it's probably not as hectic as it used to be with the Saw Doctors or with the Waterboys for both of you, in as much as there's just the two of you. You're kind of bouncing off each other, and you're quite relaxed. I'm assuming it's pretty much acoustic.
Oh, it's all acoustic. Anto, I just play the acoustic guitar, and Anto plays sax and mandolin and harmonica.
Okay.
Sings a few songs. He gives us a bit of musical variation that we'd need, because you couldn't be listening to me shouting all night.
I don't know. I'd say a lot of people might enjoy that fact. You told me there before we started recording that you actually have 2 albums recorded and released.
We have, yeah.
Which I wasn't
we
aware of.
recorded an album called Pushing It and Flying It. So, I don't know, they're saying that our next album might be called Shoving It.
Well, no, you said that, not me. I wouldn't go down that. I wouldn't dare on that one. So, okay, so how long, I mean, you're obviously you've got 2 albums out, you're obviously very happy with the way things are moving along, you're obviously enjoying it very much indeed, I'm assuming, there as well. So, what are you hoping was going to come of it, if anything? Well,
I was always hoping that we'd just keep doing gigs with whatever act I was involved in. So that's all we're hoping for, is that we keep being able to play gigs that are enjoyable and keep recording and not miss. We're actually going to Russia, would you believe, in January.
I saw that, yeah, very good.
So that's something we would never have been able to do with Saw Doctors. It's just, with that amount of people, it's not possible. Whereas when the 2 of us were able to get into an awful lot of smaller boreens and different places than we could get with the Saw Doctor's juggernaut. It's like we're on a motorbike now rather than a big truck. So
are the push bikes
a lot more adaptable? Yeah.
Are the push bikes as on your poster? We noticed that as well.
Yes.
Will the Saw Doctors come round again, or is that something that's going to be on constant hiatus for now?
We just don't know. We have no plans. But we are talking about it. We definitely won't play within the next 6 months or so, or even maybe longer.
I think you're probably enjoying the break from it though as well.
Well, I've enjoyed this, learning the new way of doing a show. And it's funny what you said, it's probably less intense or less hectic than the other gigs with the big band. It's actually much more hectic for us, because we're on the stage for 2 hours and there's nobody else to look at. So we've nowhere to hide. When you're playing in a big loud band and the bass and drums is going and Davey's out there singing,
yeah, you can hide.
We can kind of hide and take a little few minutes, just strum along kind of thing, whereas there's no strumming along at all in this act.
Does that scare you, or did that scare you when you started doing it first? You know, being that stripped down, as it were, and exposed to your audience much more so than in a band situation?
It scared the living daylights out of me, but I just thought we had to go and do it and see if we could do it. And thankfully, it is working and people love it.
I was about to ask you, what kind of reaction have you been getting?
Oh, it's absolutely lovely. The good thing about it is that it's completely different from the Saw Doctors.
Yeah.
So there's nobody saying that we're trying to make a pale kind of effort at being the Saw Doctors. It's completely different. It's not that at all. So
you're not watered down.
Yeah. It's just, there are different versions of the songs, there are different instrumentations, there's different songs. And there's more stories and more time, and we meet everybody. It's great crack.
Well, you were always the kind of person, yourself and the lads from, I don't know Anthony, I'd have to say, but I remember meeting you down at Spree there a couple of years ago when you did that final night of Spree, and the affection that the Saw Doctors and yourself individually, how you're all so well received by people, that must give you a lot of, well, not courage is not the word I'm looking for, but the confidence to get out to do what you're doing now.
Well, you're always worried about the next thing, and what I'd like to be doing is writing another song that people will like, but you never know if that'll happen again. So it's just lovely to be out sharing the stuff with people, and I think the reason it works is people see themselves in the songs.
You've done very well from a career point of view with the Saw Doctors. What is it, over 20 years now, and you're still carrying on. So the luck of the Irish is certainly on your side.
Oh God, we've been awful lucky. We had songs that people liked, and we love doing it, and we've been to places we could never have been other than if the songs had brought us there. And even myself and Anto now, we got invited to the Vancouver Folk Festival in the summertime, and
excellent.
We would never, how often are you going to get to Vancouver? How often in your life are you going to get to Russia? It's amazing. Are
you going to say hello to Mr. Putin?
Oh, well, we're thinking about the Pussy Riot got put in jail for, what did they sing? I think what they sang was Mother of God drives Putin away. So Maybe we could do Mother of God of Kenny away.
There's a bit of promotion for you there now. That could be quite interesting, to say the least. So November is a very busy month for you. You're in Limerick, you're in Naas, you're in Dublin, you're in Tuam, Ratoath, and the big one that obviously that concerns us in this neck of the woods, the 15th of November in Kilkenny in the Set Theatre. Leo, thanks for taking time out. I know you're in the pub there, or whatever it is you're at, and have you any gigs coming up in the immediate future?
We're going to England next week, myself and Anto. We're going to do 10 days in the north of England.
Great stuff.
So that's always something to look forward to as well. We've a great old stronghold following in Britain from the Saw Doctors. And myself and Anto only need a small percentage of those people to come in.
That's it.
Great.
Keep you happy and keep you out of trouble as much as we possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out to come on the programme, and continued success to you and indeed to Anthony as well. And maybe sometime we'll get an opportunity to have you in studio and get a good old chat and a bit of a session on air.
We'd love to. Thanks a million, Roddy.
Not a bother, Leo. Thanks very much indeed for taking the time out.
Cheers.